Hello VC, what's going on? It's me, Will, and I'm back with another video, and this one's gonna be all about live music, or the lack of live music in 2020, of course, because of the pandemic. Most of the concerts were canceled this year. But somebody in my last video mentioned in the comments that they really miss going to concerts, of course, but they also miss people talking about live music and going to shows and the experiences from live music. So I thought I would record a quick video where I gave you my top 6 concerts of 2020, and I actually only went to a total of 6 concerts in the year. All of them were pre-COVID. They were from January all the way till mid-March, and all of them were great. So all the concerts that I went to in this year are gonna be in this list. And my show number 6 of the year was Mattiel playing live at the Earl. And of course, Mattiel is a local indie rock artist from here, from Atlanta. And she played a very intimate show at a very small venue at the Earl, which is one of my favorite venues here in Atlanta. Which was surprising because she normally plays at much larger venues, at least when she plays locally here. And she became very popular, I think last year or the year before, when she opened for Jack White in his latest tour when he was promoting his newest record. And I have one of her records here. This is the self-titled album that came out, I think, in 2017. I don't remember when this one came out, but it came out just a few years ago, and it is excellent. If you check out something from Mattiel, check out this one, the self-titled record. And this one came out on Burger Records. And yeah, she played an awesome show. It was very small and intimate. I was able to get really up to the front of the venue, which was kind of it was difficult to do because it was a sold out show, and it was packed. And it's crazy to think that we were in such a small, crowded place back in February. This one was in February 22nd of 2020. And just a few weeks later, we weren't able to see anybody when everything locked down.
Maybe I should go and see the street. We can figure out just what I think. About to every minute, every day. Every minute, every day. I don't wanna go.
Alright, my number 5 concert of 2020 was Teenage Bottle Rocket playing live also at the Earl. Teenage Bottle Rocket is a punk rock band from Wyoming, which is a state that you don't really hear very often when it comes to punk rock. But they're an excellent punk rock band. Very catchy tune, very fast-paced and high-energy type of punk rock. They're a Fat Records band, and they sound like a Fat Records band. So very influenced in bands like NoFX, Bad Religion, and of course Green Day as well. I think it was a few years ago that they did a really great cover of Having a Blast by Green Day. So they were very influenced by them as well. And yeah, they played a fantastic show here in Atlanta at the Earl. Again, a very small venue, so very intimate, very high energy. And yeah, the show was fantastic. A very high energy again. The people were really into all the songs. It was great to see people just singing along to most of the songs. You could tell that the Atlanta fans were really waiting for Teenage Bottle Rocket to come to town someday. And they got their wish, and this one was in February 13th of 2020. Alright, then my concert number 4 of 2020 was from a band that I've seen several times in the past, and they always kill it. I'm talking about, of course, the Silverson Pickups, and they played here at the Buckhead Theater in Atlanta on March 12th of 2020. Great show, and it's also one of my favorite venues in Atlanta. And yeah, great show from the Silverson Pickups. But this one was kind of interesting because it was right in the middle of March here in 2020, and this one was about the same time where things were starting to get really ugly here in the United States when it came to COVID. There were just a few cases compared to now, but you could tell that things were starting to spread out, and a lot of the concerts were already being canceled, schools were getting shut down, some states were already in lockdowns, and this show almost didn't happen. Most of the concerts were already canceled, even back then in the middle of March. And in fact, all of the concerts on that week were canceled, except this one, except the Silverson Pickups live at the Buckhead Theater, which I already had tickets to go see them. And actually, the band announced, I think it was the day of the show, that they would only play that show in Atlanta that night, and they would play the next show, which was the next day, and I believe in Knoxville, in Tennessee, or in Nashville, somewhere in Tennessee. And in fact, they did end up playing here in Atlanta that night. But the next show, things just got so out of hand in the United States that they just ended up canceling that show as well. And this one was actually the last show that I ended up going to see in 2020. It was a great show. They always kill it. Very intense show. They played a lot of songs from their newest record, which is this one. This one's called Widow's Weeds, which is also an excellent record. This one also made it to my top 10 albums of last year in 2019. Alright, my concert number 3 of 2020 was Gringo Star playing live at the Star Bar in... actually, this one took place in 2019, but it was on New Year's Eve, the night of New Year's Eve, and the concert lasted all the way after midnight. So I counted as a 2020 concert. And yeah, this one took place on December 31st, 2019, New Year's Eve show. And Gringo Star is a fantastic indie rock band from here, from Atlanta. They normally play, I would say in the last few years, they played New Year's Eve shows in Atlanta, and they're always fantastic shows. Great way to spend the New Year's Eve with Gringo Star. And the vibe was great, especially here in the Star Bar, which is a very small bar, kind of like a hole-in-the-wall type of dirty bar in Atlanta. And the vibe was great. People were really into it. And this is their newest record. This one is Back to the City, and I think this one came out last year in 2019, or maybe it was the year before, 2018. Great record if you want to get started into listening to Gringo Star. This one's highly recommended. Alright, my number 2 concert of 2020 was not in Atlanta. It was actually in Birmingham, Alabama, which is not too far away from here, only about an hour and a half distance from here. So I will travel to go see bands that I really want to see. She didn't play here, she played in Birmingham, so I drove all the way there to just see her that night. And she played in a place called Workplay in Birmingham on January 19th, 2020. And Workplay is a venue that I've never been to before. Actually never seen Juliana Hatfield play live, and I've been a fan of her for a long time. And of course I was very excited about this show. And Workplay was a very interesting venue, very different to the venues that I normally go to for rock shows. This was the kind of venue where when you walk in, somebody greets you and they sit you at a table, which is very, very unique. Very quiet type of environment. You could really hear everything, so the sound is great. And very dark, not many lights. This is the type of venue that was normally reserved for acoustic sets, kind of like that type of city winery type of vibe. But this one wasn't an acoustic set, it was full band. It was Juliana with her full band, and the concert was excellent. As soon as she got started, the people really got into it, even though it was really quiet when the music wasn't playing. And she played a lot of the songs from her newest record at that point, which is this one. I picked this one up at the end of the show. This is her record, or her album of covers from Olivia Newton-John, which I was kind of skeptical at the beginning when this one came out, because I really do not like anything by Olivia Newton-John. But after listening to it on the show, I really got into it, and I said I must buy this one on CD at least. Alright, and last but not least, my number one concert of 2020 was MXBX live at the Buckhead Theater, and that one was here in Atlanta on January 18th of 2020. And if you watch my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of MXPX. This is one of the first few pop punk bands that I listened to back in high school, and it was one of the bands that got me started into punk rock. I've only seen them live a handful, or maybe like a couple of times before. I think the last time I saw them was the first time I saw them was in Warped Tour in 2006, if I remember correctly. And I actually ended up getting a picture with the band as well in 2006. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of the band. They haven't been the most active band in the last few years, but I think it was in 2018 they released a great record. It was the self-titled record. And I ended up picking up a copy of the record on vinyl at the show, and it was signed by all the four band members, or I guess the three band members and the touring guitarist. And yeah, Mike Herrera and the band, they killed it that night, and it was really cool because at the end of the show they also did a little meet and greet where you could get a picture taken with the band and get your stuff signed if you wanted to. The guys are super approachable always. If you ask them to sign something or get a picture, they're super friendly. And yeah, as far as the show, super high energy. It was great to see so many MXBX fans here in Atlanta. And they played, of course, a lot of the songs from this record, the newest record, which is excellent. And they played, of course, the bigger hits like Chick Magnet, and I think they also played maybe a lot of songs from Life in General, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a terrific show, super high energy, people were really into it. It was great to see the guys back and live. And yeah, that was my number one concert of 2020. It's crazy to think to just go back and remember those concerts. It almost seems like they happened years ago, but it was only a few months ago. It really makes me miss a lot of that kind of vibe, from the energy from the concerts and being around so many music fans. But hopefully in the next year we'll be able to see some more shows. It looks like it's gonna be slow in coming back, at least in the later half of 2021. Maybe we'll start seeing some concerts announced. I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for sure for some concerts in 2021. Anyways, feel free to leave your comments here in the comment section. What were your concerts, if you got to see any in 2020, or what were your favorite concerts of last year? Just drop them here in the comment section, or make a video if you want. Thank you for watching, and take care. Bye bye.